And for members of the public who are listening in on our meeting, my name is Robert Cullen. I'm board chair, and we'll get started at 4 o'clock. To make either a general public comment or to comment on a specific agenda item as it is being heard, please submit your comment to the clerk of the board or by emailing to comment@svswa.org. Again, that's comment@svswa.org. Every effort will be made to read your comment into the record, but some comments may not be read due to time limitations. Comments received after an agenda item is discussed will be made part of the record if received prior to the end of the meeting. And again, that email address is comment@svswa.org. Additionally, and I'll be announcing this again at the beginning of the meeting, but translation services are available for Spanish speakers. And to do so, you would call 1-425-436-6345. Again, that's area code 425-436-6345. And the access code is 444666. And those numbers, if you are watching this on YouTube, you can see those numbers on the agenda there. We'll get started promptly at 4 o'clock.
Rob, is that something that's provided by Zoom, or is that something we're actually going out to a third party with?
Staff can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that is a service we are providing and not to Zoom.
Okay.
It is done via a separate conference call
Okay.
system that they can call into, and the translator will be translating into, not through
Okay.
Zoom.
Okay. Thank you.
Although you may have just given Zoom a business idea there. So.
Well, no, the reason being is we actually have that capability on some of our calls through my work, that there's translation services through Zoom. So they actually already have that. I was wondering if we were availing of that, if we were going to a third party.
Gotcha. Hey, since we got a minute to spare, so Drew, I see that you have a picture of yourself there. I just have my name. How did you do a picture?
You go into your profile on Zoom and set a picture.
All right, I'll take a look at that after the meeting, see if I can figure that out. that would require me figuring out where my actual Zoom profile is.
So if you actually go to the Zoom main menu, there's a little gear looking thing. It'll actually bring up the settings.
Okay.
And one of the tabs is profile, and you go to edit my profile. It'll actually bring it up in a web browser window, and you can actually go through and change your picture and do a whole bunch of other things. It actually requires you to have a real account with Zoom, though.
And you know what? I bet that's my issue, is that I've just been like, for this, I'm just logging on as a participant, essentially, not under my account. But
right.
Good. I'll do that.
And I actually have a Zoom account through my work.
Gotcha. All right, so it is 4 o'clock. I'm going to call this meeting to order. For those who just joined us, my name is Robert Cullen. I'm board chair. And if we could go ahead and start with the roll call, please.
Vice President De La Rosa. Vice President De La Rosa. Vice President Lopez. Alternate Vice President Lopez. Director Gunter.
Present.
Director Lara. Director Lara.
Here.
Director Phillips.
Here.
Director Silva.
Here.
Director Tipton.
Present.
Director Villegas. Director Villegas. President Collin.
I am here.
And we have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. And I will kind of monitor the participants to see if Gloria or Tony join us here. Okay, but we'll go ahead and get started with the meeting here. I will make mention again that if anyone would like to submit a comment or a question, you can do so by emailing comment@svswa.org. Again, that's comment@svswa.org. Every effort will be made to read your comment into the record, but some comments may not be read due to time limitations. Comments received after an agenda item is conducted will be made part of the record if received prior to the end of the meeting. And in addition to that, again, we provide translation services for Spanish speakers for all of our board meetings. To do so, you would call into area code 425-436-6345. That's, and then access code 444-666. And Erica, if you could make that announcement in Spanish, please.
Sure. Tenemos servicios de traducción, están disponibles llamando al 1-425-436-6345 usando el código de acceso 444666.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we'll go to General Manager comments, and Patrick Matthews, do you have any comments for us? And Patrick, if you're talking, you're on mute.
So sorry. I just have a quick update on the authority actions relative to COVID related impacts. So the good news is that at this point, our revenues are only down around 8 to 9% over last year, but still ahead of budget. So things are relatively stable right now from that aspect. And as far as the staffing goes, we're back at full operational staffing with our field operations at all our facilities. And in the office, we are have begun this week phasing in, bringing some staff back, some that were on furlough and others that were just teleworking. So we're operating under the goal of maintaining about an average of 40% of our normal office capacity. So we're not bringing everybody back. We're still maintaining a limit on the number of people in the office, with the rest teleworking or working directly in the field. So it's going pretty well so far, knock on wood. And we hope to continue with that plan at least through the next couple of months until we see additional directives from the county, the state, or the feds on further reopening efforts. But we're up and running, and everything is functioning under the circumstances as well as possible. That concludes my remarks.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to department manager comments. Let's start with Cesar Zuniga, please.
Yep, just following up on Patrick's comments, we are still seeing quite a bit of southfall. Probably about 400 vehicles or so at Sun Street, and then South County on the weekends, we are seeing pushing 100 southfall vehicles at Johnson Canyon, which is quite a bit. Normally we do about 60 to 70, and we are seeing higher numbers. So residents are finding us during the shelter in place, at least keeping us busy. And then on a separate note, on May 7th, we participate with the county's pre-bid meeting on the Gloria Road project. So that is in full swing. It's open, and the bids are, I don't remember what the bids are due, but it is going to the Board of Supervisors for approval in June. And that project will kick off hopefully sometime in July. So that project, after about a decade plus being on the books, is coming soon. So thank you to everybody who's worked on that project, but it will be here this summer, and hopefully this time next year we'll have a upgraded road that leads to the landfill.
Hallelujah. All right, thank you, Cesar. Mandy Brooks.
No comments at this time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ray Hendricks.
No comments at this time.
And Brian Kennedy.
I have no comments either.
Okay, thank you. We'll go down to board director comments. And has Vice President De La Rosa, I don't see her on the participant list. So we will go to alternate Vice President Lopez, please.
Just want to keep everybody updated. Our board, as a board of supervisors, has been pushing to get our variants done, our attestation, to allow us to move further into step 2 of, or stage 2 of the governor's plan. We do anticipate that coming forward on Tuesday. That'll allow in-restaurant dining as well as some other pieces, but there is still a set of guidelines that go along with those that'll have to be adhered to. Just want to let everybody know that's coming. And if you send local restaurants in your jurisdictions who are interested in opening up a little further to the state's website for guidance, they do have what those protocols will look like posted. We will be sending those out as well from environmental health, but to get them just a little ahead of the curve, if you want to help out with that, that would be wonderful. We appreciate everything that we as partners and all of you as partners for our local governments have done. Our testing numbers are up. That's critical in terms of understanding where COVID is and isn't in our communities. So that's sort of a rough, quick overlook, and just want to thank you all for your continued efforts, and to staff for I've been going to the Self Hall twice a week here for the last month with all the projects my father-in-law has been doing on the property, hauling mostly yard waste, and they're extremely professional, helpful, and make sure that we get through the facility quickly, and it's greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. And continuing on with board director comments, we'll go to Director Gunter, please.
I have no comment at this time. Thank you.
Okay, Director Lara.
Nothing to report at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Phillips.
Aye.
Yep, we can hear you, Director Phillips. Go ahead. Are you there, Director Phillips? All right, we'll come back to you in a minute, or pipe in if you're able to speak. We'll go to Director Silva, please.
Hi, Rob. This is Liz. No comments at this time.
Thank you. Director Tipton?
No comments at this time.
Okay, and then Director Villegas, I don't believe Director Villegas has joined us. We'll go back to Director Phillips. Are you there, Director Phillips?
No comment.
Okay, thank you. And let's see. I think I don't have any comments for now. I've got my comments will be on specific agenda items. So at this point in time, we'll go to public comment. For those who joined us late, you can submit a public comment by emailing comment@svswa.org. You can enter them now under public comment, or you can email those as quickly as possible on any of the agenda items that are coming up. One thing to note for all of the directors and anyone listening in from the public is that from the time we speak until the time you hear us speak, there's a 60-second delay. So there may be some times when I do a bit of a delay if we are having comments come in to that email address. So let me pause there and ask staff, have we had any comments come in?
No public comment.
Okay, and feel free to interrupt me if any comments are emailed in.
Rob, this
Yes.
is Patrick. I was just informed that Gloria will not be in attendance today. She had 3 conflicting meetings and was going to be attending the water board meeting today.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you for that. Okay. So we're going to go to our first agenda item, a consideration item A, which is a discussion on the future meeting schedule, and I'll turn it over to our general manager, Patrick Matthews, please. And Patrick, you're on mute if you're speaking.
Sorry, I should know this by now. I've been on Zoom meetings all day. I just wanted to touch bases with the board on our upcoming meeting and then future meetings moving into the summer, and talk a little bit about schedule. So I think there's sort of 2 outcomes I'm looking for. One is that the consensus of the board that we want to continue to have, or at least for the month of June, continue to have our meetings at 4 o'clock on our normally scheduled board meeting date, because I'm assuming we will be doing at least a Zoom meeting in June. And then to have a little discussion about when we come back out of recess in July and come back to our August meeting, Does the board want to entertain discussion about having either a full in-person meeting, or, as a lot of agencies are having, sort of a hybrid where members can choose to participate in our normal venue down in Gonzales, or to dial in via Zoom. So I think we'll start with the first question. Is the board okay with us continuing to schedule the meeting for next month at this time, 4 o'clock on our normal meeting date, which would be June 18th?
Okay, so let's take that up first. Does anyone have any objections to our June meeting being at 4 o'clock via Zoom?
I do. I have standing meetings from 4:30 and 5 o'clock for work, and I'm still at work. So I would prefer them go back to 6 o'clock if possible.
Does anyone else have a conflict with 4 o'clock? Okay, seeing none. I will, well, let me do some thinking on that. And so 6 o'clock is the earliest that you could do it then, Director Tipton?
Actually, even 6 o'clock is cutting one of my meetings short by a half an hour, but that's what I'm used to doing that for our regular meetings. So 6 o'clock is fine.
Okay. Let's for now then, let's plan on doing 6 o'clock via Zoom. Let's have that as the plan. And if anything changes well in advance of that, Director Tipton, let us know. But otherwise, we will schedule the June meeting at 6 o'clock via Zoom. The nice timing of things is that we have our standard July recess, which means that we've got some time to figure out the August board meeting. And there's a couple things at play. One of them is we're able to do these meetings virtually because of the action the governor took. So I know our general counsel, as well as each of our cities' councils, general counsels, will be keeping us apprised of any changes at the state level in terms of our ability or inability to have virtual meetings like this. My preference at this point in time, if we are, let's assume for a minute that come August, we're able to do meetings virtually, but at the same time, things have opened up in a way that meetings can be held in person. My preference would be that for the August meeting that we do a hybrid, and that we allow people to call in via Zoom if that's their preference, but we'll wait to make a decision until we got some more time passed and we know what our options are and such. So Patrick, does that address the second component of that we needed to address?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
We'll just have to play it by ear, and maybe we'll we'll have that discussion as we get towards the end of July or early August.
Okay. Then on most of these agenda items, I'll go down the director list and ask anyone if they have questions or comments. Now I'll just kind of open it up. Does anyone have any questions or comments that they'd like to provide on this item from the board? Okay. And Erica, has any public comment come in on this item?
No.
Okay. Patrick, does that give you enough direction on this?
Yeah, I'll put a flag on my calendar to circle back every kind with the board, probably towards the end of July, and by then we should have a sense of what the reopening may look like and what restrictions we may have that would guide us on how those meetings would be held.
Okay,
yeah,
great, thank you. Thank you. We'll go down to the consent agenda. We have 9 items on for consent. And are there any directors that would like to pull an item from consent for discussion? Hearing none. Do we have any public comment on consent?
No public comment.
Okay, then I will entertain a
Rob,
motion.
this is,
Yeah, oh,
excuse me, Rob.
yes.
It looks like Director Phillips is trying to say something. I can see his name keep popping up on the screen. I don't know if he's trying to pull something or not.
Okay. Thanks.
No, I was trying to move consent.
Okay. All right. Good. We have a first by Director Phillips. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
I'll second.
Okay. Oh, Gunter, you beat Silva to the punch. All right. And if we could do a roll call vote, please, Erica.
Sure. Alternate Vice President Lopez,
Yes.
Director Gunter,
Yes.
Director Lara,
Yes.
Director Phillips,
Aye.
Director Silva,
Yes.
Director Tipton,
Yes.
and President Collins.
Yes. Motion carries, and we will now go on to presentation. This is item number 10, which is the always fun Wally Waste Knot Awards. It may not be as fun this time doing it virtually, but we are going to do the Wally Waste Knot Awards, and I will turn it over to Mandy Brooks, Resource Recovery Manager, please.
Thank you, President Cullen. Members of the board, it actually hopefully will be fun. We took your direction, and we have a couple of the schools gave a little bit of video, so it's included here in this presentation. So just as reference, since 2015, our Wally Waste Knot Schools Award Program has awarded approximately $115,000 to over 60 schools for their efforts to demonstrate successful implementation of reduce, reuse, recycle, and rot or compost programs and activities. This year, however, due to COVID-19 and the shelter-in-place orders, we were not able to complete the full award to the 12 schools that applied this year. But we are happy to report that we did receive 4 schools that completed their activities and submitted their full application. So to highlight their efforts, Estela Gutierrez, who has been the lead for our schools program and actually started this award program, will give you a brief presentation on the 4 schools, their accomplishments for this year. So I will turn it over to Estela.
Can you hear me? Good afternoon. Ernesto, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Estela.
Yeah. Okay. Can you move to the second? Yeah, so basically each school we have, as Mandy said, we have 4 schools. I mean, we have 12 schools that apply, and each school has to finish 26 activities. 5 activities are on reduce, 5 in reuse, 6 in recycling, 5 in composting, and 5 on rebuild. Can you go to the next one? So yeah, unfortunately, we only had 4 schools that finished all the activities. And then 8 schools that didn't finish, we're gonna roll them over for 2021 award program. And we're gonna highlight each of one of their activities. So we're gonna start with Chular. And what's gonna happen next, you know, here, they're record the voice and they're gonna be presenting their highlights. Out of the 26 activities, we only selected, for them, we selected about 9 activities. Go ahead, Ernest.
Chular School completed 26 activities and are excited to share our most successful sustainable strategies in our cafeteria. Students begin with unwanted and open food on the sharing table. Then we drop our mixed recycle. Afterwards, we drop our food waste. Next, we pour our milk. Then drop our empty milk cartons. Next, we drop trash. Last but not least, we stack all of our reusable trays. All children sort their food in the sorting station. The sharing table is where you put your unopened, uneaten, or unwanted food. Students use reusable trays for breakfast and lunch to reduce our waste. Reusable sports reduces waste and helps the environment. A person from our community takes our waste to animals. We empty our liquid and the janitor comes and takes it to the sewer system. Our custodian bags our empty milk cartons in a clear bag to be recycled. We enjoy using our reusable containers for our condiments. Thank you for providing us an opportunity to reduce our waste and make our world a better place.
Yeah, I just want to highlight one more thing that Chular did. So during the waste assessment, we found out that they are diverting more than 75% of their waste. This is like, we started working with them like 5 years ago, and every year we go, I mean, not every year, but every time they apply for the Wally Waste Nut, we do the waste assessment, we make a lot of recommendation, and they actually implement the programs. Every program that they talk about it, they implement it. So now that's the norm. When you come to the cafeteria, they're doing all that separation, and that's how they have reduced to 1 cubic yard of garbage. So they used to have 4 cubic yards of garbage, I mean, like 5 years ago, and now they only have 1 cubic yard of garbage just for the waste for the cafeteria. Another thing is that when we did the waste assessment, they were already piloting like reusable metal forks, and it was funny because it was only one kindergarten and one fourth grade class who used to take these reusable sporks into the cafeteria. Just those 2 classes were using them, and then they were taking them back to the classroom for washing. And so we told them, like, hey, can we sponsor 500 reusable sporks? And that way the whole school can use the reusable sporks, not only for lunch, but for breakfast and for supper, and for all the meals that they provide. They were so supportive. We talked to the principal, superintendent, and the teachers and the cafeteria staff, and they agree, and that's the reason they have done such an amazing work. And next. The next one is the Mexican American Opportunity Foundation from Gonzales. I'm so excited because this is the first time that they apply for the award program. I have worked with them for, I mean, this is like maybe 9 years ago, when we implemented the recycling program for all of the centers in the Salinas Valley. But now, for the first time, they have applied for this award program. And I think we have Sandra Fletes. She's going to be presenting this, the teacher, but she's also I think she's joining us on live. That you can ask questions if you have one. Go, Ernesto.
Hello everyone, my name is Sandra Fletes. I'm the site supervisor from the Mexican American Opportunity Foundation Child Development Center located in Gonzales. We serve children from 2 to 5 years old. Let me introduce you to Lilia Suarez. She is our head teacher in the Gonzales Center. For our agency, this year was the first to participate in the Reduce, Reuse, Recycle Award program. Mrs. Suarez and Gonzales teaching staff complete 26 activities. Having this wonderful experience, our center wants to share these 7 activities that impact our center for implement sustainable and strategies. Estela Gutierrez, our coach, helped us to come to our center, teach our children and parents why it's important to recycle. We learned how to reusable dishware, reusable cups, worms composting system, recycling implement, meal waste diversion, recycling art for different activities, reusable sports. As shown on this picture, these are the reusable dishware that we use for snack time. With that recycling program, we implement these accommodations. We use reusable cups in order for use to not waste or constantly throw away cups. We've been encouraging the children to put any leftover food, fruits, and vegetables to feed the worms. As a result, we get compost for the garden. We have been implementing recycling bins in our classroom, office, kitchen, and staff room. The milk waste diversion activity helps children why it's important to serve themselves what they are going to drink to not waste milk. Teachers love to work for more than 2 months bringing recycled material as a part of the lesson plan. Also, teachers encourage parents to bring plastic bottles and carton boxes. That activity helps teachers with the parent engagement activities in our center. Our next step is to implement reusable sporks.
Okay, so just another highlights for the Mexican American Opportunity Foundation Center in Gonzales. We are in the process of working with them too to switch from disposable plastic spoons and forks, plastic spoons and forks to metal reusable sporks. They already have a dishwasher that they use to sanitize all the reusable dishware. So this will be just an addition for them to reduce the plastics spoons and forks. The next one that we have is the Diaz Dual Immersion Academy of Salinas, and I'm gonna highlight some of the activities that they did. So one of the great things that they're doing is that they already switched to reusable condiments. If you look to the left photo, that's the reusable condiments, and that's what they used to use in the past, just the single package condiments. So next. So one of the another thing that they implementing, it was a sharing rack, and they basically the kids that grab something that they didn't want to eat or drink, or they put it back into the sharing rack, and students who are hungry, they go back and eat those. And also they have another table that they call it second. So whatever is left over from the cafeteria, they come and grab it. So we're not sure what's gonna happen after the pandemic, but that's what they were using in the past, and it was great. So another thing that they're implementing, it was the offer versus serve. So basically the students, if they don't want to take a milk, they don't have to. So these, just because they have a big signage and everybody there is helping the kids when they come to get their food. So there's hardly any milk waste at that school. One of the things that we have partnered with Diaz, and we offer this for all of the schools in Salinas and in the Salinas Valley, is to come and tour our facilities. But Diaz, they have come basically every year. We have the first grades and second grades who come and visit and tour our facility here at Sun Street. So have you seen one of the photos? They're already learning about composting. They're learning and they're touching and this filling all the decomposers in the soil. And the other photo is basically just when they go to the phase to learn about all the things that we offer there. Another change that they made, they used to use just regular paper, and they have switched to 30% post-consumer recycled paper for all of the printings and copy at the schools. Because Diaz is adding a new grade every year, so they're always purchasing new benches and chairs. So I want to highlight, because they're using this one, that they're sustainable furniture, free or harmful chemicals, and low maintenance and safe. See, when we came to Diaz, it was almost at the beginning, kind of like the last week before they close all the public facilities and the schools. So they were already doing art and also face masks using old t-shirts. So if you see one of the photos, there's already a face mask there, but they also did a lot of art and a lot of education. Another thing that they're very good on it is an education. They're always promoting reduce, reuse, recycle, and they're always taking a pledge to reduce their waste. So our last school, and I'm so happy because for the first time we have one school from Soledad that finished all the activities. We actually had 6 schools from Soledad, but due to the pandemic, they were not able to finish, but at least one school did finish the activities. So one of the things that Frank Ledesma is doing in Soledad is promoting already the sharing boxes. So this is a great thing because what we're planning to work with them in the next year is to maybe adopting a policy where they can actually, the kids can take one of those edible foods or any edible item to eat later, or they can take it home. Right now, they only promote them because they have those boxes. The kids come and drop any unwanted and uneaten food, and after lunch, everything is thrown away in the garbage. Next. This is another thing that they're doing. They're promoting reusable water bottles. If you see the whole class, they brought their reusable water bottles. Another thing that they decided to do is to subscribe to online publications to reduce paper, and that's what they subscribe to that. They're also promoting double-sided printing for all of the printing areas and printers. So they encourage staff and students to print double-sided. And this is when the recycling wizard came and the students came to the cafeteria to learn about recycling. They also did a cleanup at Larry Newman Memorial Park. They choose to do that activity, so you can see they did a lot of work at the garden. And I just want to say thank you and congratulate all our schools that apply. And even though they didn't complete, they did an amazing work. And we're so excited to work with them next year, and so we can help them complete. Do you guys have any questions?
Well, very good, Estela. Thank you. And I tell you, watching these presentations every year, it's so inspiring to see what all the kids and the staff, teachers, and everyone do. And what I always love about this is the lessons that the kids learn. You know that they're going home and they're teaching their families, their extended families about all these things, and it's just so important. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate that the time that was taken into doing those presentations by the schools. And I do want to, because we have Sandra on the line, and if Sandra, if you could unmute yourself for a minute, I just wanted to ask you a question. So if you could unmute yourself, because I'm not familiar with the Mexican American Opportunity Foundation, and how many kids are there? What are the ages?
Yeah, hello everybody. Yes, can you able to hear me there?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Yeah, we serve from 2 years old to 5 years old. So we have toddlers and preschooler.
Okay, and about how many kids are there now?
Well, unfortunately, our center is closed, but we're we have been helping our families for learning distance right now. So we have 25 families that we
Great.
serve.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for participating in this program. I appreciate it, and it looks like you guys had a good time. So if there's any other comments that you want to add, you're welcome to.
No, I want to say thank you so much for the wonderful opportunity. And like you said, we are preschoolers, so they're learning from the beginning right now how important it is to recycle, and they got really excited to do the artwork, and the parents was amazing job in how they participate with the teachers and their kids as well. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to go to board discussion on this item. If there's any questions or comments from the board, we'll start with alternate Vice President Lopez, please.
Just praise. I just want to thank everybody for bringing this program forward. Change starts early in kids' lives, and we are molding the future through your efforts. And so to all of the recipients, thank you so much for the work that you do. It makes a big difference for us and will continue to make a difference as long as these kids continue to thrive in the Salinas Valley. So thank you for all that you do.
Thank you. Director Gunter?
No, it's just awesome that the young people are picking up where a lot of folks have missed this opportunity, and hope this is the future. I think Patrick probably already telling them no more landfill. So small we can't find them. So thank you.
Great. Director Lara?
Kudos to all the schools that participated, and definitely to all the kids and all the teachers, everyone that made it happen. And congratulations to the ones that received the award. Yay, Frank Ledesma, we can do it. All done.
Yeah, it was neat to see them on the list. Director Phillips?
I echo the remark of the other ones. It's and it's good to see kids learning national progressive program. So congratulations to everybody. So
thank you. Director Silva?
I'll echo everyone's sentiments, and again, congratulations to all the schools that participated, and we'll look forward to seeing the rest of the group finish up their projects, because I'm sure they will. And like Estella said earlier, it's really exciting to see some of the ideas that come out of these schools, and I kudos back to their teachers, and great job, everybody. And especially the one here in Gonzales. So shout out to the Mexican American group here in Gonzales. Yay.
Thank you. Director Tipton?
And I'll echo the same thing that everybody else has, is it's good to see everybody taking part of this. It's good to see the kids taking part and really wanting to do well on this. And I look forward to seeing everybody else doing well next year.
Great, thank you. Has any public comment come in on this item?
No public comment.
Okay, so at this point in time, we'll go down to consideration, item 11, a resolution approving the transfer from capital project reserves to CIP 9104 and awarding the purchase of a new 2021 Peterbilt 26-foot refrigerated food distribution truck from Coast County's Truck and Equipment in the amount of $139,133.35. And we're going to receive a report from Mandy Brooks, please.
Okay, great. Thank you, President Coleman. If you remember, back in April of 2018, the authority assisted with the purchase of a refrigerated food truck for the food bank, which was part of our CalRecycle Organics grant. And the food bank has been using that truck for the past about 6 or 9 months, and they have far exceeded the expectations of what we thought they were going to recover. So to date, the food bank has been able to recover over 3,200 tons of edible food and donatable food, which is really, really great. So considering the current circumstances surrounding the global pandemic and the significant increased demand on the food bank services, which according to their executive director have quadrupled in the last 2 months, the authority would like to assist the food bank with the purchase of an additional refrigerated food truck. This action will also support the authority and member agencies' mandates under the SB 1383, which has a component to increase the recovery of edible food and preventing it from entering the landfill. So the food bank must use a specialized bin when they collect and distribute food, and as such, they require a specialized size tailgate lift to accommodate those food bins. So Coast County's Truck and Equipment is the local dealer that the food bank uses to provide this specialized equipment on their existing fleet. And the quote that they provided here includes this specialized size tailgate lift. Coast Counties was also the vendor that we used for the previous food truck purchase. So based on this unprecedented demand on the food bank and the immediate need, as well as the specialized equipment requirements and the established local relationship between the food bank and Coast Counties, our staff is requesting that the board approve the transfer from the capital projects reserves to the CIP 9104 and awarding the sole source purchase of the new 2021 Peterbilt 26-foot refrigerated food truck to Coast County's truck and equipment in the amount of the $133,35. I also would like to just provide the update because I think this was brought up at the executive committee from alternate Vice President Lopez. We have confirmed with the food bank that the help from the county would go to fund a much larger truck, a 53-foot transfer truck, and this would not be a duplication of services or goods.
Okay, thank you, Mandy. Did that conclude your report?
Yes, that does, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. And before we go to board discussion on this item, a reminder to the public on this item or the remainder of the consideration items, as well as the closed session items, if you do want to submit any questions or comments, please do so at your earliest, as early as possible by emailing comment@svswa.org. And again, that's comment@svswa.org. So we'll go ahead and do board discussion right now, and we'll start with alternate Vice President Lopez, please.
No discussion. You know, I just say that overall the food bank's been a great partner, and I'm glad we're able to pitch in.
Thank you. Director Gunter?
Only comment would be, let's vote on this and move this forward.
Director Lara?
Yes, I do have 2 questions. Where will this truck be stored? And also, who will be responsible for maintaining the truck?
Yeah, good question. So we will enter into a agreement with the food bank, and they will retain ownership and maintenance of the truck, and it'll be stored at their yard in Salinas. So it'll be their truck. We will have nothing to do with the maintenance or, you know, insurance or anything like that. That will be all their responsibility, but they will provide tonnage or the amount of recovered food that they're able to recover from this truck, as well as the first truck that we purchased.
Thank you. Did that answer your question, Director Lara?
Yes, they did. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Director Phillips? Director Phillips, we cannot hear you. Or at least I cannot hear you. Oh. I'm going to come back to Director Phillips in a minute. Looks like you might be having a hard time with your phone there. Director Tipton?
I'll echo what everybody else has said. I like what we're seeing. Let's move forward with this.
Thank you. Director Silva?
Like everyone else, let's move forward.
Okay, and one last chance for Director Phillips. And I see
No,
okay, there we go.
Yeah, I support it.
Great, thank you. And I'll just add that, gosh, it's wonderful that we can help participate in this. You know, we just saw a presentation from the Wally Waste Not Awards where a lot of those activities like the food diversion, the communal bins and stuff, I mean, most likely that's long gone, or if we are able to do something like that in the future, it's going to be in a totally different way. But it's still vastly, vastly important that we ensure that we reduce as much as possible food waste. And doing this truck, having this available and utilized is going to just go so far in the effort to reduce food waste under this new normal as we proceed forward. So on that note, I will sorry, I need to go to public comment, don't I? Let's, has any public comment come on this item?
No public comment.
Okay, then I will entertain a motion to adopt the resolution.
Lopez moves.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, a first by Lopez, second by Silva. And if we could do a roll call vote, please.
You have to do a roll call vote.
Alternate Vice President Lopez,
Yes.
Director Gunter,
Yes.
Director Lara,
Yes.
Director Phillips,
Yes.
Director Silva,
Yes.
Director Tipton,
Yes.
and President Collins.
And I vote yes, motion carries. Thank you all. We'll go on to item number 12, which is an update on Sun Street Transfer Station relocation project. And we're going to receive a report from Patrick Matthews, please.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm happy to report we had the first of what I'm hopeful of will be many ongoing project coordination meetings with City of Salinas staff. We had our first meeting yesterday. In attendance of that meeting was City Manager Corpus, Dave Jacobs, Public Works Director, Brian Fruce, City Engineer, as well as myself, Cesar Zuniga, and Ray Hendricks, our Finance Manager. So the primary purpose of the meeting, our first meeting was really just to go over the tentative schedule of activities, project components for the to get this project to completion. We've gone over this with the board previously. There are 6 goals with this project. One would be the acquisition of property at Madison Lane, sale of Sun Street, completion of environmental review and SVSWA studies, financial planning, securing permits and operational agreements, and the Rossi Road extension. So those are the 6 components we reviewed with the city staff. The short version of this is that this is about a 2-year project. And so when we had previously offered up a path forward with the city when we had our discussions last year, we had looked out about 2 years, and that really is from start to completion. Of course, that's also assuming we don't run into hiccups or roadblocks or issues during SVSWA, but assuming everybody is on board and we have all the stakeholders committed to help us push this forward, we believe we can get this done in 2 years. So the pieces we need to really get started, and we're not necessarily seeking direction today, is one, Republic Services, as you know, is a very large garbage company, very large corporation, the 2nd largest in the world. And this is strange to say, but government can move much faster than corporations can. And we've been asked to slow down just a little bit while they run the concepts up and down their corporate ladder and get the right approvals and get the right people on their team to sit down and to begin to have substantial discussions on this. So we've expressed that the project is about ready to start. The initial activities would be things like appraisals and property assessments. And Mandy and I are already working on updating the scope of work for our SVSWA consultant, as well as taking a first cut at preparing a revised project description. So we've already done some work, but before we can really begin expending funds, we need to know that we have all the critical stakeholders at the table and committed. Would be the city, the county, Republic Services, and the authority, and at some level, even the business community in the South Baranda area will have to be engaged at some point in the project. So it was a very, I thought it was a very collaborative meeting. City staff and city manager had a lot of good questions about the schedule. We talked through a lot of the issues, and so we're looking forward to getting going. We're at the starting line and ready to roll. So at that point, that's really my update for now, and I'm looking for any comments or questions the board may have. I'll be happy to answer.
Okay, let's go ahead and start with, we'll go ahead and do board discussion first then. Alternate Vice President Lopez.
No comments I'm excited about where we're headed.
Thank you. Director Gunter.
As you know, I've been actively involved with you in this project, but one of the things that always bothers me is we don't have any numbers for value for what is CEQA going to cost us. You know, I'm really concerned about the financial issues because we want the Solid Waste Authority to stay solid, feasible company, but we also have to remember the ratepayers. So at any time we can come up with some numbers that would sure help if the board had an idea of what this project would be in the long term and what it'll consider. I think that would be awesome, Patrick. We certainly look forward to further discussion. Thank you.
Well, I'd be happy to answer that specific question.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
let's go ahead and do that because that's an important thing.
No,
Thank
that's
you
a
for
good
bringing that
question.
up.
So when we were looking at this last in November of 2018, we had a budget of around $450,000 for the CEQA work. We have about $380,000 left in that contract. And so because we'll be keying off some old CEQA work that was done, we'll have an exact number by the June meeting because the consultant is actually updating their CEQA scope of work. But we're estimating it's going to be in the $300,000 to $400,000 range because there has been some preliminary work that was completed. So we got a little bit of a head start. The other component of this would be because this will be a CEQA document that will benefit both the authority and Republic Services. We'll be discussing some form of a cost sharing agreement with Republic. So that is yet to be determined, but we would not entertain necessarily that we would be paying for the whole thing, but there would be a joint sharing of that because of the mutual benefit. So more to come in June in terms of the CEQA costs.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that information.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to Director Lara, please.
No comment at this time. Thank you.
And Director Phillips. Oh, did we lose? I don't see him on the participant list right now.
Yeah, it looks like he's fallen off.
Okay. I will watch for him to come back on, but in the meantime, we'll go to Director Silva, please.
No comments.
Director Tipton.
No comments at this time.
Okay. And it looks like Director Phillips is still not on the call. Let's see. I have no comments at this point in time. Has any public comment come in on this item?
No public comment.
Okay, and then Patrick, just to be clear, at this point in time, is there any specific input or direction that you'd like?
No specific input today, though we will probably be requesting some action at the June meeting once we hear back from Republic Services and where they're at in terms of the timing to get started.
Okay, very good. All right, we will go ahead and move on then to item 13, which is an update on the City of Salinas's one-year notice of intent to withdraw from the joint powers agreement with the Salinas Valley Solid Waste Authority. And I'll start off with a report, and then Patrick Matthews also will provide some information as well. So primary focus on my report and my update is, let's see, a couple things. Last Friday, we, and I'll define the we in a second, had a meeting with City of Salinas. So it was myself as my role as board chair, Patrick Matthews, then the city manager of Salinas, Mayor Gunter, and Supervisor Lopez. We had a meeting this past Friday. And actually, Ernesto, could you go to page 105 of the packet, please? So page 105, I just wanted to make it a little bit easier to discuss some of these items. So the very first item that we discussed was on here, it's update on legal issues. And really what that comes down to, and some of you have seen emails, or all the directors have seen emails related to this, but so this is more for the public's sake, and then to expand a little bit on some of those emails. So there were some difference of opinions between our general counsel and general counsel for the City of Salinas in terms of how, if and when the city of Salinas reps can participate in some of the discussions. And part of that disagreement between legal counsels is what led to, at our last board meeting, exec board meeting, or two meetings ago, I guess it was, where at that point in time, my role as board chair, I had made the decision that Director De La Rosa could not participate in a portion of closed session that specifically related to one of these issues within this item. So one of the very first things that we had to figure out is getting the general counsels on the same page and come up with an agreement and understanding of how we're going to get through this process as we get deeper into discussions. So there was some further memos, and then I believe that there was a meeting with general counsels earlier today. I'm hoping that occurred. I know there was a tentative meeting scheduled, and Roy, I might ask you for some feedback in a minute here, but that was one of the things, is that first off, general counsels have to agree on how and when and if the city of Salinas rep can participate in this. The direction or the directive that was given by the 3 board members that were participating in that meeting on the 15th, so Gunter, Lopez, and myself, the directive was basically, I'll just be blunt, is, hey, general counsels, talk, figure it out, because we need to move forward. Because we know that the overarching principle, the one thing that we can absolutely agree on amongst the 3 of us and the full board as well, we know that the Solid Waste Authority needs to leave Sun Street. When we've known that for a long time. So we can all agree on that. What we need to hash out is some of the details in terms of how to proceed and how the vote can be done and all that. So that was the directive that was given to the general counsels, and that was the first issue that we discussed. And I'm going to go through these issues here first, and then I'll ask Patrick and Roy to add their comments, and then I'll go to Lopez and Gunter since they were there, and then the rest of the board. So that item 2 there, the JPA governance options, and there has been a discussion amongst our working group in terms of taking a look at the potential change for governance. So that is something that remains a relevant topic that needs to have continued discussions. But before that takes place, we have to figure out the legal issues. And then also item number 3, develop a plan in 2 weeks for the closure and removal of Sun Street Transfer Station and purchase of Madison Lane by the joint working group of the Solid Waste Authority staff and the city of Salinas staff. And that just simply means, hey, let's lay out a timeline. Let's look at the major steps. Let's look at the commitments that are required by the authority and all the other relevant parties. There's a multitude when you look at governmental and non-governmental parties. And then what are the actions by the Solid Waste Authority board for implementation? There is a proposed timeline that was put together by authority staff, by Patrick Matthews, that we discussed and sent to the city of Salinas for review and discussion. So a lot of moving parts to this. We do have a meeting scheduled for tomorrow at 11 a.m. Although, and Mayor Gunter, if you could be prepared in a few minutes I haven't yet seen that agenda or that meeting confirmation come in, but we do, at least on my calendar, I've got a meeting scheduled, or it's on my schedule for 11 a.m. tomorrow. So quite a few moving parts on this. Let me first go to Patrick for any other updates, then I'll go to Roy after that. So Patrick, is there anything you'd like to add? Patrick, you're on mute. Are you there, Patrick?
Yes, I'm there. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, our primary focus in the office has been on number 3, and as I presented on the prior item, we did a lot of work on that, and the city staff has looked at it. We've had a discussion on it. It's also been sent to Republic Services since they're a major component of that work plan. So we're hopeful to have that come back to the board in June, once we sort of know where Republic's, whether they agree with the timeline or have additional steps or things that they want to edit to it. We'll bring back the more detailed timeline. But the first draft of that has been completed and shared with all the parties.
Okay, thank you. Roy, I see that you're unmuted. Would you like to give us an update on things?
Sure, thank you, President Cullen. I did have a teleconference this afternoon with Kevin Siegel of Burke Williams, who was retained by the city of Salinas, and Chris Callahan, the city of Salinas' city attorney, regarding some issues relating to conflicts of interest. I think the conversation was very productive. I don't want to go into too much detail because there's still some pending issues, so to speak, but it was very productive. We presented what we believe is a path forward that addresses the participation and the handling of the Sun Street sale and the potential purchase of a portion of Madison Lane, and discussed, and I believe came to an agreement on issues which we hope won't come up that could potentially be conflicts, given the positive path that both the city and authority are on right now with the potential sale of the city of the Sun Street property. And then we also propose what we believe, even though there is still and likely going to continue to be a disagreement with regards to the exec board meeting, we propose what we believe is a resolution to that. And so we're here waiting to hear back on that item. So once I have more information on that, and then I can discuss a little bit further with the board. But we do think that it resolves the issues, and we do have a pathway forward. So once we kind of wrap up those last issues, I think it should be resolved. We did discuss a little bit about a possible FPPC opinion on some issues, and that issue is we did not see eye to eye, so to speak, on that one. So that may be an issue to come back to the board to discuss further at another point in time when it's more appropriately agendized.
Roy, I think one thing, well, actually one thing right off the bat, because some of the elected officials are newer, can you just at a high level say, when you say FPPC and what you mean by that, just at a high level?
Sure. The FTPC handles all areas of conflicts of interest relating to 1090, which is it's a government code section, and that deals with personal conflicts of interest relating to mainly contracting of elected officials and their family members, and the Political Reform Act, which is a broader scope conflict of interest area that deals with income, campaign contribution, gifts, a myriad of things that can be considered financial interests that require disqualification or recusal from not just the voting, but any participation on certain governmental decisions.
Okay, thank you. And then next steps, are you waiting to hear back from them, or do you have a meeting, a follow-up meeting scheduled? What are some of the next steps?
The next steps will be, I'm waiting. Kevin Siegel was going to send a confirming letter to me regarding the teleconference today, and then Chris was going to follow up on one item relating to the proposal that we believe would bring a resolution to the issue regarding the executive committee meeting. And so I'm waiting. Once I hear back from him on that item, then I'll be able to touch base with the board and kind of explain, what's going to happen next.
Okay, thank you. And then just so everyone is clear, including the public, when you say Chris, that would be Chris Callahan, legal counsel
sorry.
for City of Salinas.
Thank you.
Yes, Chris Callahan.
Yeah.
And so for clarity too, the FPPC, I should have said this, it means the Fair Political Practices Commission. And they're entity of the state of California, and they govern all elected officials.
Okay. Thank you. All right, let's see. Why don't we go to Director Gunter, and if you'd like to add your comments, please.
Well, kick it right off with, we have a meeting tomorrow morning at 11. You'll be getting the agenda from Ray. He was working on it a few minutes ago.
Cool, thank you.
We look forward to doing more work on this and more discussions tomorrow morning about the items on the agenda.
Okay, very good. And then alternate Vice President Lopez, would you like to add your comments, please?
No comments at this point. I think we've got to work through these issues, and I'm happy to be part of the group working on them.
Okay, then I'll add a couple more comments before we do the board discussion. And of course, a lot was just thrown out, a lot was discussed right now. Let me just say at a high level, I continue to feel very optimistic. I think that once the legal counsel's involved, kind of, and I apologize because this sounds weird or it sounds odd, but gets on the same page, for lack of a better phrase, gets on the same page, and we can see a path forward in terms of how to vote and how to proceed. You know, I feel good about that. I feel good about the path that we're on. So now it's a matter of getting all our ducks in a row and proceeding forward. Some of this relates to what will be discussion in closed session on our real property negotiations. And then so we'll have our working group meeting tomorrow. Then at our full board meeting next June, as Patrick mentioned, we'll have some more data points like the cost of SVSWA. And then we'll also have updates on the discussions with Republic, and then the discussions of our working group and legal counsel. So heck of a lot of moving parts to this, but overall I feel optimistic, and I continue to feel the most optimistic about this as I have in the almost 12 years that I've been on the board. So with that being said, let's go down the list for board discussion for questions or comments. And we'll start off with Director Lara, please.
No comment at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Director Phillips is not with us still, it looks like. So we will go to Director Silva, please.
No comments.
Okay, Director Tipton.
Nothing at this time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, has any public comment come in on this item?
No public comment.
Okay, all right. Onwards and upwards then. Can you, Ernesto, can you flip to the agenda item future view ahead schedule, please? And once there, Patrick, if you'd like to add your comments on the future agenda items.
Yes, I'd be happy to. So June, obviously, it's the end of the fiscal year. Preparation for the new upcoming year. We have a number of contract renewals or extensions for many of our services and programs that will be coming back to the board. We'll have some additional recycling recognitions for individuals or businesses that will be coming back. And I think for now, we're going to continue to remain focused on the two primary issues, both the relocation project and resolution to the city's notice of intent to withdraw. So pretty much that's what we anticipate will probably the remainder of the year will be focused on those latter projects with consideration items and closed session discussions.
Okay, thank you. Now I'll open it up to any board member for any questions or comments on the view ahead schedule. Okay, hearing none. For closed session, we have two closed session items on the agenda. Number 15 is real property negotiations, and number 16 is to consult with general counsel on threat to public services and or facilities, consideration of tactical response plan consultation. Item number 16, Patrick, correct me if I'm wrong, but we are not going to go into closed session on item 16. Is that correct?
No, and I think we'll probably be dropping that item. That was in there primarily for dealing with some of the COVID responses. So unless something changes dramatically, I don't see that we're going to be needing that item going forward.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Has any public comment come in on closed session?
No public comment.
Okay, so at this point in time, we will adjourn to closed session. For the public's sake, we will be coming back into open session to report out if any action is taken in closed session. So if you are listening in, you're welcome to continue on that, listening in. And when we come back into open session, we'll report out if any action was taken. So at this point in time, we'll adjourn to closed session, please.
Director Gunter, can you hear me? You should have received an invite to join the closed session. If you can hit approve, please.
Okay, we are back in open session. Just as a reminder to everyone, to the board members, when you go into open session by default, it does mute you. And it looks like everyone has joined us back in open session. So if there's any members of the public that are still on, we will report that there was no action, no reportable action taken in closed session. And at this point in time, we will stand adjourned at 5:33 p.m. Thank you all for attending. Stay safe, stay healthy. Take care.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.